All right, everybody, this is a guided walkthrough for the head dump challenge from picoCTF 2025. This is an easy challenge in the web hacking category from the picoCTF 2025 event. And the description here says, welcome to the challenge. In this challenge, you will explore a web application and find an endpoint that exposes a file containing a hidden flag. The application is a simple blog website where you can read articles about various topics, including an article about API documentation. Your goal is to explore the application and find the endpoint that generates files holding the server's memory, where a secret flag is hidden. Additional details will be available after launching your challenge instance. Okay, so let's go ahead and launch the website. So we can do that by clicking on this button over here, the blue button labeled Launch Instance. Click on that. And then after a few moments, you're going to see a link. So the website is running picoCTF news. So we can right-click and we can put this link in a new tab. So we've got a website here, and the website has a bunch of blog articles, but one of the blog articles is something we need to pay attention to. And that is this one right here. So explore backend development with us, and we've got API documentation, and there's a link. So the link goes over to an API docs endpoint. We can go ahead and click on this. And we're going to end up on this Swagger page over here, and it talks about API documentation, and we've got a bunch of different options over here for our API commands. Let's talk a little bit about APIs before we continue on with this challenge over here. So where are we? Here. Okay, so this is head dump. We're talking about web app APIs. So web apps often incorporate APIs as part of their function. API stands for Application Programming Interface, and they allow web apps to interface with each other. So basically, APIs are little interfaces which can facilitate different web apps communicating with each other. So APIs use standard HTTP methods to specified API endpoints to perform different functions, such as creating app users or editing user details. So we see here some examples of some different functions that the API can do. So if you send a GET request to the endpoint API/posts, you can get all the posts. If you send a post request to API posts, you will create a new post. So keep in mind that this is the same endpoint that's being used. So the post endpoint are being used for both of these functions. The only difference is that one of them uses a GET request and one of them uses a post request. So we also have, we've got a bunch more. So for the API posts ID endpoint over here, you can get posts by ID, you can update posts, you can delete posts. But we can actually see all of these over at the website, this one over here. So API documentation exists for most websites, for most web apps that use APIs, and these are very useful for teaching the developers how to use the API. The most important thing that we have to note here is that there is this special API at the very bottom here that is the GET. That is the for diagnosing. So this is a GET request to the /head dump endpoint, and this says it's diagnosing the memory allocation. So diagnosing memory allocation, it says it doesn't take any parameters, and it runs a memory allocation status. So this is actually what we need to do. This is what we actually need to access in order to finish the challenge, because the challenge says your goal is to explore the application and find the endpoint that generates files holding the server's memory, where a secret flag is hidden. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to access this not by using the web browser, but we're going to use the curl command. And let's see. I think I've got a little walkthrough here. So we were told that we're supposed to locate an endpoint that generates files holding the server's memory. When we look at the web page, there's a link that leads to API documentation. On that page, there is a /headdump endpoint which downloads a file. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the curl command to access the web page. I'll just copy this and I'll provide it to everybody in chat. Keep in mind that you're going to need to switch out the address here because the port number is probably not going to be the same as your port number. So paste in your own port number and give this command. This is going to download the file, and we're going to pipe this into the grep command to look for the flag. And we're going to look for this pattern right here, which all the picoCTF flags have. picoCTF and then the opening bracket over here. Okay, so let's go ahead and try this. We're going to copy this command. We're going to go to our web shell. We're going to paste in the command. We need to make sure that the port number is the same. So let's go over to the website. The port number is not the same. So we're just going to copy the port number over here in the address. And then we're going to go back to the web shell. Oh, I copied another thing. Okay, let me copy that. Okay, copy that. Go back to the web shell. Get rid of the port number. Paste in the new port number. Okay, and then let's run this command. When we run the command, it's going to download this file. And it's a pretty big file, but we're able to get the flag because we grepped for it. We used the grep command to look through this file. And this is the flag over here. So if you want to take a look at what this file looks like before you do your grep, and I probably should have demonstrated that first, let's get rid of the grep portion of this command. So this downloads a file. It's a pretty big file, and it's got a bunch of stuff in here. The problem is that unless we use the grep command to look for the flag, we're not going to be able to find it very easily. So that's why we give this command with the grep command and the pipe. So we run it again. And we got the flag here. So we can just copy out the flag, then go back to the challenge page here, and then in the flag submission field, paste in our flag and click on Submit Flag. And we're done. All right, everybody, that was a guided walkthrough for the Head Dump Challenge from the picoCTF 2025 event. If you enjoyed this guided walkthrough, please click on the like and subscribe buttons on the video and leave a comment underneath the video. But until next time, HackerFrogs out!
Hey there, HackerFrogs! Are you enjoying this workshop? Learning new concepts and skills? If so, there's a way you can support the channel, and it's totally free. Just click on the subscribe button below the video. Also, click on the like button. And if you have questions or comments on this workshop, please leave them below the video. Thanks for listening. And now, back to our scheduled programming.